Hello everyone, nubkeks here, and welcome back to Nub Raids. And in today's video, I've got it preloaded on the screen. Holy moly! We're going to reveal the tier list as we go. I'm going to try and make this one a fairly snappy walkthrough of the best relics, in my opinion, an overview at the moment in Raid Shadow Legends. It's the middle of April, April 17th, 2026. And yeah, I think it's an interesting time for relics. We haven't had a new set in a little while. I think the last set was the Wings of Winter, which is with the Assassin's Creed collab. So I wouldn't be surprised if we see some new stuff in the future. I think the Grim Forest was a pretty big drop of one of the most accessible relic types as well. And I think one of the big things for me about relics now, like 2026, the situation with relics, I think we now have quite a nice selection. There's tons of them, loads of them in the game. But we now have a pretty good selection. Like, you know, when relics first came out, did you want a resistance main stat relic? You needed a Volcardiac Heart, whereas now you've got options, right? You've got the Compass of Anaxia, another good one. You might have picked up some Oculos Custodians during the Wings of Winter event, you know, that sort of thing. There's more options for accuracy relics. There's a lot more speed relics, etc. Loads more damage relics, all the rest. There's just more options than ever before. And also, you're probably, hopefully, getting more relic crafting opportunities than ever before. So you're also in a better spot to actually upgrade some relics. So it sort of becomes important as you get further in the game, you actually start collecting these relic bits to start upgrading your most important relics instead of spreading yourself too thin. It's trying to focus in on the ones that are actually really good. I'll also note I do maintain the relic tier list over on hellhades.com. This was updated when they added the Wings of Winter. I do need to update it again. One thing that's annoying, which is why I'm using the Photoshop version here, is I can't move stuff within the tier. It just places them like in whatever this SS tier here. It just places them wherever it wants. And yeah, like I can't, for example, go, hey, the Wand of Submission, I mean, it's great and all, but it should be near the bottom. It just wants it to be at the top for whatever reason. So that's life, but there's lots of cool things in here. I do need to update the gem tier list as well. That was last updated in November. Could make some changes. But yeah, we're making changes to this video, but there's lots of cool info on this page if you haven't seen it, by the way, like some suggestions for champions and just a quick breakdown on the different relics. I really hope that we can improve the functionality of this stuff, because this is I mean, you should be able to just click the relic. What I would want to happen, we'll see if we can make it happen in 2026, I don't know. But if you could click a relic, it would take you to a page, it would be hooked into the champion pages, it'd be like, oh, this Chrysalid of Rebirth, what is it? I click it, it opens it up. I mean, you should even just say it over here as well. I mean, it does sort of when you hover over, but yeah, you click it, it would take you to a page, tell you info about the relic, it would hook into the champion pages, like these are some champs we recommended with this relic, blah, 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 blah. It'd be pretty cool, but hey, we'll see. Anyway, we've got a beautiful Photoshop document for now, so let's dive in. D tier, what is this D tier? These D tier relics are basically absolute rubbish. And they're not, these are ones that are so underwhelming, you could basically just ignore them and use them for food. I would give you one caveat, which is I haven't ordered this. This D tier is just completely, they're in there at random. It was whatever order they came up on Tier Maker when I made it. So there's no order to the D tier. There is to some of the other tiers, but not the D tier. You might want to hold on to, like, there's 2 legendary relics in here. You probably want to hold on to a copy or 2 of them if you have them. They're absolutely terrible, but they could get buffed. Plarium said that they might buff relics near the start of 2026. The start of 2026 is sort of fading, or I mean, we're sort of getting close to the middle of 2026. So we'll see. Will they actually do it? Who the hell knows? Maybe. Maybe not. Maybe yes. But I think buffs to bad relics are certainly on the page. So yeah, I'd hold on to some of the bad ones. You could probably order the D tier if you wanted to, just by rarity. Like, probably keep the legendaries. They're quite likely to get buffed. You could maybe keep some of the epics because they have a decent chance to be buffed, though I probably wouldn't expect any epic relic to be really all that good. And the rares are probably always going to be kind of worthless, and you could just use them as food. Let's be real. There's a couple of extremely good rare relics. We'll get to those, and epic relics as well. But I doubt that Plarium will buff relics to that point in the future. So I wouldn't hold out, you know, like whatever your Unholy Grail or your Rod of Blasphemy, will they ever be anything other than useless? Probably not. So yeah. Right, then we've got the C tier. The C tier, these are relics that I would say are kind of filler relics, basically. Filler relics, they might have some use. Like this Thunder Circlet. This, I guess we could flick through them one by one, eh? Let's try and make it snappy, though. I think it's sort of an okay survivability relic, right? You get a continuous heal when you take damage. I think there's better options, but it's fine. Demonic Effigy, that's your reviver relic. I think it's okay to fill in for revivers, so there's better options. The Preserved Aberration, that is over here. This gives you ignore defense for poisons. It's a bit awkward. You're competing against the Arethi Coronet, which tends to just give you more damage. You're competing against Arachnelixir for places where poison's uncapped. A bit of a filler relic. It's okay. This one, it's one of the crowns, and I don't remember the name. Andromeda's Crown. Exile's Crown. Andromeda's Diadem, Exile's Crown. Right, this one, you take less damage for each debuff, but it is a resistance relic. I think it's probably one of the weaker ones, right? If you got resistance, you don't really want debuffs, huh? But it is a resistance relic, so you can use it as like a filler for resistance. This one is like a filler for accuracy, and it's good on champions that have True Fear. Frost Spawn Cocoon, that is one of the... which they've just buffed, actually, the Forge Pass. This one, you get healed when you use your default skill. Not too bad. Nice little filler thing. Pretty good if you got some ally attack, like HB champions. The Skull of Disquiet, I think it's got this anti-polymorph effect. It's absolutely rubbish, but it is a resistance stat stick, which is nice. This one, again, I always get confused between these crowns. Whenever you heal an ally with an active skill, chance to decrease the cooldown of the wearer skill by a turn. Yeah, it's a filler relic for healers. It's okay. It's a low chance. It's fine. This relic is a stun relic, decent for faction wars, wave-based content. Then we've got a few damage options in here. The old classic Malefic Talon. This is a Forge Pass damage one. You've got the new damage one from Grim Forest. They're all decent options to fill in for damage dealers. They're not special. You're not leveling them up to high levels, but you can put them up to, I don't know, plus 9 or something. 3, yeah, rank 3. Use them for a bit. Use them as food in the future when you get better stuff. They're okay to fill things in. Saint Sevier's Tribute is an interesting one. This can give you Veil, kind of useful for Hydra, but not spectacular. You know, kind of use it if you have to. Bit of a filler one as well. This one can be quite good. It's a fun one. Over here, Scroll of the Unseen. I mean, it's sort of really been outclassed, right, by Lens of Intangibility now, but it does give you damage when allies take turn and you've got Perfect Veil. Very niche. Does have some uses for like a Trunda or something. If you've got Veil on everybody else and your champion's not taking turns in like Hydra, you can basically fully stack this every single time. Very niche, worth pointing out. You could, for me, I'd probably just not worth the hassle. I probably would consider this sort of a D tier relic myself. You can customize this stuff obviously to your needs, right? For me, I probably wouldn't bother with it, and it's okay on champs with Perfect Veil, but they kind of need to be slow, not great. This is a great accuracy stat stick, and then this is a nice HP stat stick that you can steal some buffs, which is kind of nice for faction wars, hard bosses, and things like that. The Orb of Transfixion. So there you go. C tier, nothing too special there. You can kind of use these relics to fill in your champions. You're probably going to use a few of the damage ones. Nothing too exceptional. The B tier. In the B tier, we've got some more solid filler relics that are a bit more impactful. I quite like the Molten Death Bell. One of the better rares. It's your accuracy stat stick, but it's giving you turn meter when you crowd control an enemy. That's lovely for any crowd control champion. That's great. That is really nice. So it's a really well-designed filler relic. I can even jump across the Journal of Necrotus as well. Classic filler relic. It's giving you health. It's giving you more healing, more turn meter boosting. Great. Anyone who's healing or turn meter boosting, doing more of that is perfect. It gives you a nice benefit. Nice decent chunk extra as well. So it's a nice filler relic that just works. Dark Smiles Toast. This one is one of the newer ones. I think it's all right. You know, you're getting, when your turn meter's filled, you get a bit of a heal. I don't know. Maybe I'm overrating it a bit. I'm not sure. I've put it up here. Howling Guardians is quite nice. Very unique. But it decreases the damage your most injured ally receives from bosses. Now, bosses only, and it redirects that damage to your champion. Pretty cool on tanky champions like a Krisk or a Kyoku or something like that. Quite interesting, quite unique to try keep your squishy champs alive. Gilded Pinion. We've got a few sort of, in fact, we cover these legendary ones here. We've got sort of 3 that are quite, I think the Harp and the Gilded Pinion are quite similar. Where are they? So we've got the Harp. Hell, it gives you turn meter when you use a skill that doesn't deal damage. It's decent. quite decent on Mavara. She's not doing damage on 2 of her 3 skills. This is a nice bit of extra turn meter. I've used it on Lady Noelle very similarly. So it's a decent filler relic on champions who don't attack, who are just sort of casting abilities that don't attack. It's nice. The Gilded Pinion is over here, very similar. Decent stats, you take less damage for turns on your cooldowns. It's fine, not exceptional, but it's decent. The Eternal Soul Jail. This one is, you take less damage from the first hit of the round, and then later hits it's a lower amount of damage reduction. It's an okay, stay alive sort of relic. It's generally useful, but it's not spectacular, but it's fine. Again, we've got 3 epic options here to talk about, which are all decent, but fine. The Gilded Dragonstone is a really nice defensive nuker option. Budget option. There's much stronger options, but some of these budget damage relics that you might otherwise have will have attack stats on them. You can't use them on a defense-based champion. This one, it ramps up over time. It's decent in longer fights. Spectacular? No. Usable? Yeah. Viable. Exusar's Totem. I quite like that one on Mithrala specifically. It is quite cool. Accuracy main stat, you gain turn meter when an ally gets crowd control. So this is a bit odd. What's the... I feel like I mentioned a different one. Well, I mean, we mentioned the resistance relic that, you take less damage with debuffs. Doesn't quite make sense. This one, also quite someone with accuracy, but would be avoiding debuffs and then potentially removing them. Mithrala is the obvious example. She turns her accuracy into resistance. She gets turn meter, can cleanse you off. Lovely, beautiful. So it's a bit of a niche one. But it's kind of cool for Mithrala specifically. We got a couple of decent resistance stat sticks over here then as well. In fact, 3 almost in a row with a mythical relic, my lowest rated mythical relic. Probably not a shock to anybody. But you've got, resistance stat sticks. The Compass, cool. Very nice on Bambus, by the way. When you're under crowd control, you get more turn meter boost, and he puts himself to sleep constantly. That's quite a fun one. I think the Inferno Sphere is actually one of the best ones. You get more resistance when your health goes low. That's like a really solid one. It's only epic as well, so it's easy to use. What's the other one? Oh, yeah. Then you've got this one, which I think is slightly the best one, the Oculos Custodian, from these more accessible ones. Sorry, I would scroll past it. It's resistance, but secondary stat is speed, which is cool. And if you do get smacked really hard, you lose your debuffs, which is potentially nice as well. It's mostly the speed on that makes me like it a bit more. So a few resistance options there. The worst mythical, feels bad. It is this one. Again, don't like throw it away. It's probably going to get buffed. The Murder Fang. It's like a damage relic, but you have a chance to do bonus damage based off target's max HP on your default skill only. So, it's not, I think it's all right. Slap it on like a Wixwell or a Lydia or something. Get some mini War Master procs out. If, it's got damage stats. It's a bit awkward. It's a bit weird. Be okay on a Lady Mikage. Very odd relic. With a mythical relic, you really kind of want something that's really more geared towards PvP, honestly, because that's the hardest content in the game. This is not it. So, yeah, but it's so bad, it's probably going to get buffed. It would be possibly number 1. I think that and the Axe Serpentis are the 2 obviously absolutely awful relics, and the Collective as well. So I wouldn't be surprised if it got buffed. Last Laugh Amulet, I think is quite cool. I kind of underestimated this one initially, but it gives you a cheat death effect. I'm using one on Raphael, actually in the Turtle team, because he can stay alive, and he's got a really good A1. And just maybe he's block revive on some people. That can be kind of cool. So I quite like the Last Laugh Amulet. Sometimes it fails spectacularly. You just die from the delay. But it can be a cheat death, which is interesting, particularly with ally attack champs or people who can stay alive. It's pretty cool. Hand of Uncreation has a pretty bad effect, but it does have accuracy and resistance, which is quite unique. It's got lovely stats. It's a cool little stat stick. And I've used it a bit, like especially in the Mercurial meta. It's a solid enough filler one where you're going, well, I've got Total Guard. I don't really need Wand of Submission. But, I want like on a Hilvi or a Naldwa or something like that. If you don't have one of the really good mythical relics, this can be a decent filler. Get some accuracy, a little bit of an effect, decent gem sockets, which I'm blocking, but it's okay. And then the Gore Crescent. I think I like the Gore Crescent a lot. It's just a solid damage option. I think it's particularly good for content with waves. So Faction Wars Hard, Grim Forest, Curse City. It makes a really big difference there. You land a killing blow, you get a really big damage boost on your next attack, which is cool. So I like it. There you are. They are the B tier. Now we come up to the A tier. And this ends at S as well. So we've got A and then we've got S. So A tier, these are some really impactful ones at this point. Really big impact. These are more build defining. And then S tier are like best in slot. Wow. Oh my gosh. But the A tier is really, really good. So Golden Elixir stands out. It's an epic option. So good for healing, right? Solo strategies. Even some surprise PvP strategies. I've seen people running this on like a Gallius because he's got healing from his passive and he's healing back up with this. It's pretty sick. Classic on like a Geomancer or something like that for solo strategies. Very cool. Insane relic. This relic has really sort of exceeded expectations of usefulness. Really nice. Aspect of Siroth, your cheat death relic. It's super accessible. You're going to craft about 1 million of these and hate seeing it, but it's really nice. I think particularly on champions with really good passives that like a Freya, Donatello's not a terrible option, budget option. Ancora, another great option. I like it on champions with really strong passives where, because they lose all their turn meter, right? Even if you lose all the turn meter, it will still help you you'll still be doing something useful effectively because your passive is still going. And maybe you'll still be tanky enough to survive some hits as well. So I do like that. Was like a cool champions who are like, I ignore Stone Skin and I kill you through Stone Skin. This could be a good way to keep champions alive against that as well. We've got a time limited relic, Skull of Treason, HP burn one. It is awkward to use. They have to have higher max HP than you. Is that it? Yeah, I think so. It's awkward. Enemies with higher max HP. So it's a bit awkward. Like I have this on Hilvi. It's quite fun on her because accuracy main stat, but she has quite high max HP, so it just doesn't work against half the enemies in PvP. She's got more HP than them. Doesn't work. But I mean, it's interesting. It's cool. Yeah, so it's a pretty cool option. Not that many good champions to use it is one of the things. Really nice on Volcanos, so long as he doesn't get turned into a sheep. And it's a bit awkward to use him these days anyway because of Total Guard. But hey, c'est la vie. Soulmar Crystal is a new one. Very cool. This could change a fight. I've seen it used a good few times. Once per round, get an instant turn when an ally is killed. Throw this on a reviver who brings someone back with high turn meter. And boom, very cool. You could also just put it on, I don't know, a damage dealer or something. You could do some fun stuff with that. Very cool relic. Few relics here, very similar. Not the best of the best, but very strong, notably stronger compared to, we saw some budget damage options earlier. Now we've got a pretty big leap, I think. Essence Quencher, Thunderbolt Spear, very similar. Essence Quencher, sorry, it's over here. It's over here. Clan relic nub. Essence Quencher, more damage if they've got high turn meter. Just generally great damage everywhere. Really very strong, bit more accessible option-ish. You know, compared to a Cat's Gaze, which you literally can't get anymore, right? It's more accessible than that for sure. It's good. I think the Thunderbolt Spear is pretty similar. Not as good. You do more damage to enemies under shield, so this is much more PvP coded. And it is good there, but not as generally good as the Essence Quencher, but, you know, they are both very good. A couple of Mythicals then, which I think are a bit better. You've got, this one has been a bit disappointing, the Carnet of Gloom. It's very interesting. You get block damage when allies die. And you guaranteed it when everyone dies, but the wearer is still alive. But then it's a damage relic. It's got crit damage. It is a bit awkward to use. It can be very good, but it's it's not as good as, let's say, the Lens of Intangibility. So yeah, it's one of the better relics in the game. But the stats are a bit funny. The effect, a little inconsistent. You still have to watch out for crowd control. I've got one. I feel like it fits sort of in the A tier. Like it's not really all that much better, to be honest, than an Essence Quencher, you know, like it's pretty close. Corrosa's Covetous Passion. This one is definitely undertuned, clearly, for a mythical relic. I mean, it's just worse than the Cat's Gaze, which is not right. It gives you decent damage stats. You get Shatter. When you kill an enemy, you can get Shatter back again. I think this one really does need a buff, but look, Shatter, it's 15% ignore defense. This is wave-based content, PvP. But it is good for those things. Very good on Eilil because he gets extra turn meter out of it. It's a cool relic, but yeah, I mean, these mythical relics I think should be better. in my mind. You know, you want to be pushing. I mean, a mythic, they're so ridiculously difficult to get. That one would be a fairly disappointing one. I do like that. We've got a few accuracy. In fact, we've got like loads of accuracies in a row. Bunch of accuracy relics in a row. All really useful. And you've got so many more options now. So you've got the Temporal Stagnator. This one is really good for Fabian, Crixia, even Sabriel if you build her for it. Yeah, basically increasing skill cooldowns on a weak hit. That's the key one. You can also make buff removal, stealing and converting work better as well. Again, I think Sabriel has got the steal and the skill increase cooldown, so that's nice. Crixia has removal and increasing skills. Fabian, yeah, so I think it's really good on mostly lockout champions, but excellent on them. Bit niche if they're void affinity like Warlord or Yumiko. Obviously, you wouldn't use it. And yeah, Yumiko doesn't weak hit anyway, so it wouldn't matter. So, well, I mean, not on that move. Spore Burst Rod, fantastic. Mostly for bombs, right? This does bombs and poisons. I really think mostly bombs, but it's really nice for bombs. Yeah, accuracy main stat, attack second stat, place extra bombs. It's great. Yeah, especially in PvE where, you know, you really do want quite a lot of bombs. So if you're using a Nishak or a Kraz or whatever in PvE content, amazing. Really, really useful. Good for PvP too. Blades of Akamori, and Bane of Centranos, two very strong Forge Pass relics. Very good, very, very good. This one is great. When allies are attacked, you got a good chance to provoke them. And you can sort of chain provoke. Very cool. Very strong if you've got counterattack, if they're tanky. I think it's excellent. Bane of Centranos is also excellent. This is another really good one for... I think this one is yeah, really good for yeah, lots of champs. They're both good on lots of champs. I think they're both also very good in the Mercurial sort of meta, particularly Bane of Centranos. Enemies get a buff, you can get the same buff. Only once per turn, mind you, but still, if you've got Total Guard, it's protecting your buffs. Really nice on someone like Hilvi, really nice on someone like Naldua. Someone who wants accuracy, happy to get buffs and has some way to protect them. It's actually really good. I think it's a relic that's benefited very much from Mercurial meta, which is a big new thing which has affected these relics as well. Then we got 4 mythicals in a row. I think these are all potentially very good, but very, very niche. Difficult to use well. Torch of Thraldom, obviously a niche one. You need a full faction team. You get more stats if you got allies from the same faction. Now, if you do have allies from the same faction, this gives you so many stats, like loads of speed. It gives you more speed than any other relic. And crit rate, crit damage, everything. It's huge. But it's very difficult to use. Mostly, I'd say, like siege defenses for faction-specific stuff. It's awkward. It would be a lot easier to use as well if it would be a lot better if they made it so you could freely change relics. Because, you know, I don't know. You might be like, well, my Lady Mikage or something, be cool to have her really fast and, I don't know, some sort of Shadowkin team, but then I don't really want it. I'd rather have a Perch Shadow on her for boss content because she's not running with any other Shadowkin or what. I don't know. It's a bit odd. So it's best case scenario, ridiculously good. But the best case scenario is ridiculously rare. And you get it from Faction Wars, which would be the big place to use it. And if you're getting this from Faction Wars, you've probably beaten most of Faction Wars. So yeah, a bit awkward. Yeah, I forget the name of this one. The pointy, don't stick it up your bum. I think that's what Polytope means. It looks painful. Resets cooldown when your HP drops low. With a cooldown, awkward to use. Very nice on Galathir because he's got a cheat death. And yeah, any sort of champion potentially with a sort of cheat death that can, you know, come back. Interesting budget option for an Empress maybe. You know, he can die, come back alive as cooldown's back. Kind of cool. Yeah, I think it's an interesting option. Gives you a bit of a way to fight back against lockout, but it's awkward to just not die. Right? Yeah, you trigger the cooldown reduction, but you need to not die. So it's a little bit tricky. Potentially very good, but awkward to use. Zibia's another classic example. It is absolutely broken on Nice the Shadow Thief. If you don't have Nice the Shadow Thief, it's hard to find a champion that's good. You need someone who's really tanky so they can take all these hits and survive. I would expect more champions that could use it well in the future, mind you, so don't lose hope. But yeah, it's hard to find other options other than Nice, to be honest. I'm in the opposite situation. It's terrible, tragic, really, where I've got a Nice, but I don't have the relic. Poor me with my Nice. Oh, world's smallest, saddest violin. Chrono Cube, interesting. Kind of bad for mythicals, though there are a couple like Ashnar who can use it to pretty cool effect. You get a chance to get 2 turns in a row. So Ashnar is a classic example. He puts out burns, then he activates the burns, and he's giving you loads of turn meter boost if that happens. I think Hecaton is another interesting example currently. Like, he buff up and then do a big nuke and give everyone Storm Call while buffed up. It's pretty cool. You miss your next turn. Yeah, Armand's was a good one, though Armand's sort of struggling these days. But yeah, Chrono Cube, niche builds, interesting builds, can be really broken on the right champion. But it can be a little bit tricky to use. But there we go. Then we come in to the S tier, and these are, the best relics in the game, and the end of the list. So the bottom, I've got the Perch Shadow. It's an epic, my gosh, an epic relic making this high up. It's just insanely good. Chance for an extra turn using your default skill. This is so strong on many supports, particularly in PvE, but it's even good in PvP now, especially, again, with Mercurial just cycling through your turns some more is juicy. But yeah, like, let's say a Reviver, right? Like, let's say you've got your Star Sage Galathier, right? For example, or I hate to use Star Sage Galathier. Like, almost every relic's good on him. He's such an easy option to go for. But, like, you know, he's not using his Revive if nobody's dead. He's going to do his A2 and then spam some A1s. If you're doing loads of A1s, you're just going to get more turns, get back to those crucial cooldowns, get more healing, get more turn meter boosting. Really good on all your classic PvE giants like Lady Mikage, Lydia, whatever. It's hard to go wrong. This thing is insanely good. I think it does deserve top tier. What else have we got in here? Oh, some other budget options. First of all, Arachne Elixir. What's there to say if you're a poison champion and any uncapped content? So, for example, you don't run Arachne Elixir against Chimera. You'd run Arethi Coronet probably on those sorts of champions usually, but Arachne Elixir for PvP in particular, for wave content as well, gives you way more damage on your poisons. It's pretty much best in slot for any of those poisoners. We have the Arethi Coronet, sorry, wrong place in this conversation as well. Super budget, get up to 30% more damage from placing debuffs. 30% more damage is a massive amount of damage. So it's really, really nice. Oh, and of course the Wand of Submission. Not quite as dominant. Mercurial makes this less important. Like, you're seeing less of Arman, so you're getting like directly sheeped. Less Armans, less Wukong than there was back in the day as well. So you're not seeing sheep as often. Polymorph Blessing, not as common. If you've got Total Guard, like if you're running Mercurial, you're going to be not affected by this stuff either. So it's not as important there. But it's still a ridiculously good relic. It's still a very safe option, particularly for any champion running in Stone Skin that doesn't have Total Guard, or that would be placing debuffs, is potentially going to be sheeped. Or yeah, against high CC enemy teams, it could win you the fight. It's very strong. So Wand of Submission, it's still excellent. It's still great. I think it has fallen out of the meta a little bit. I mean, it's sort of what Plarium does. Instead of balancing stuff at all, like they just really, like, you know, they bring out Polymorph instead of going like, wow, this is really obnoxious, we should nerf it. It's like, you know, we'll bring out stuff to counter it. And then it's like, oh, this Wand of Submission is really obnoxious. You know, we'll bring out Total Guard sort of counter it, and you go, that's kind of obnoxious too. It's just, I don't know, man. C'est la vie. Right, then we've got, again, best of the best relics. Mind of Markat. This is one I underestimated before. I'm really liking it now. Accuracy, speed, but this fatigue debuff can be actually a pain in the butt to deal with. More of a PvP. Okay against waves, but very strong in PvP. Really good on Carnage, and a lot of people get Carnage eventually, right? Very strong on him because he can be placing the fatigue and then spreading it around, and it's like, horrible. But yeah, Mind of Markat, actually really solid. Better than I expected. Fantastic stats. The effect is actually decent in PvP. It can be quite annoying. This one, very similar to Dice, Diabolical Dice. Again, another Carnage relic. This one is difficult to find people to put it on. You need a damage dealer that's attack based, that's building accuracy. So it's not easy to use, but it does give you some lockout, and it gives you more damage against enemies who have skills on cooldown. So nice damage boost, great effect, really, really cool. Death Dealer, very unique. I mean, it is struggling a little bit, I think, in the Mercurial meta. So this was, you know, attack stat, but you always crit. And the nice thing about this is it means, well, you don't weak hit. So this was very, very strong on, let's say, like a Commodus, right? One of his big weaknesses, what if you weak hit, and particularly with like Galathiers and Theodosias in the meta, all these Force Affinity champions, having a Blue Affinity Bomb champion is kind of risky. Well, no problem. If he cannot weak hit, he always crit. Fantastic. But Total Guard sort of makes him awkward to use in general now. But this is very strong on Rotus, the Lost Groom, another classic example. Very much countered, well, inconsistent against Force Affinity champions, and has a passive that actually interacts fairly well with this. You just give him more extra turns. Very strong. But yeah, even debuffers, anyone like that, is a pretty interesting relic. It's got cool potential. Yeah, it is very hard to use, mind you, but it's cool. We've got our first speed relic. Spoiler, half of the relics left are now speed main stat. Speed main stat's kind of busted. We've got our Fervor relic. I went to the wrong spot. Fervor relic, the Hallowed Hilt. First speed main stat. When you heal an ally with an active skill, you have a chance to place Fervor. Very cool. Beautiful synergy with Mavara. Well, I mean, she can't use the effect of the relic, obviously. She doesn't have any active heal. But if you put someone with an active heal with her, then you get it. It's Fervor with Mavara. It's fantastic. But yeah, not that many. It can be awkward to find champions to actually use the active effect, but the speed main stat is phenomenally useful, enough to make it a main pick. I think this is the second best resistance relic, Volcardiac Heart. It's fantastic. Magma Shield, really nice. It's such a great defensive benefit. I would say this is the ideal pick probably for Mavara. Extra survivability, surprise damage reflection that can actually genuinely mess up some damage dealers. It's very cool. Volcardiac Heart is excellent. Definitely one that we were underestimating when relics first came out. Crown of Corruption, speed relic with damage and damage reduction. So yeah, sort of a damagey speed relic. Quite nice. You've got a few champions like Lazarius, even Sabrael. A few champs that want to be really fast but want to still do damage. Ashnar could do a similar sort of thing. And they're difficult to use. Even you could put this on Edward Kenway, get some use out of it. Champions who want to do damage but like taking lots of turns, it works well. Needs to be upgraded a lot though. But yeah, it is there. I like this one a lot. Simple, the Tower Helm, speed, relic, but with the defensive buff. So this is beautiful. If you're using, again, a champion you want to be really fast, but doesn't heal, like you're kind of going, I'm just using this just for the speed stat, really. The Tower Helm is just a better option. You're getting the speed main stat, but you're getting survivability too, which everyone can use. You can't really go wrong. Can't really go wrong with survivability. So it's nice. Immortal Visage. This is a cheat death relic. Almost nobody has this because you need a... Yeah, I guess people will get it now. Wales will get it now because you can get it more likely from the Forge Pass. So yeah, speed main stat. I might buy it actually, probably. I don't know. Should I? Maybe. I don't know. Once per round, you revive half health and turn meter, and then it gets stronger. You can come back with 100% turn meter. So yeah, oh, you one-shot my team. Well, surprise, my team reviver, I don't know, my Palace, Glorious Palace or whatever, just came back with full turn meter, and she's revived everyone. Suck it. Yeah, it's pretty insane relic. Crystal of Rebirth, really cool as well. Speed main stat, but really good for revivers. When you revive an ally, get an extra turn. Insane. I run this. I actually have this. I have it on Raglan. She's got a 2-turn revive. So an extra turn off that is kind of ludicrous. Cat's Gaze, we have a legendary. A rogue legendary sneaking in. Well known, really, as the best legendary relic in the game. Beautiful gem slots, which I'm blocking. I have a crit damage main stat, but just ignore defense, right? Just flat, consistent ignore defense. Doesn't work for HP nukers in Arena, because they typically have... You need to have enemies have more max HP than you. So if you're stacking HP, not great. But in pretty much everywhere else, it's so massive, consistent damage boosts. Yeah, it's just most content is straight up better than the mythical, which just feels a bit wrong. Dread Bomb, very cool. Again, basically no one has this, but they'll start getting them. It's got 3 triangle gem slots, crit damage and speed, chances for extra turns, and then you ignore enemy defense on extra turns. Anyone who's got extra turns built in is going to just giga charge with this. You could put in gems, which give you a chance for extra turns as well. Pretty insane. I think there's all the controversy about Sanguine Maria being nerfed. I think some of the showcases were like running her with the Dread Bomb relic. And then people were upset that they nerfed her because it was like, well, I was running the Dread Bomb relics and my showcase wasn't any good. I was like, bro, what is going on, man? Anyway, we've got the Shuriken. Absolutely busted relic. Where is it? Here it is. Stars of the Jinang. Enemies get turn meter. You get turn meter as well. As resistance main stat, which is really juicy. This just gives you so much turn meter. Insane on a champion like Crixia is the perfect example. But just insane. You steal so much turn meter off enemies. If there's a Solinar on the enemy team, though, watch out. He'll be firing off like a machine gun. Then the two best relics in the game, both damage relics. Stormcaller. Surprising. I thought this would be power crap, but no, this is surprisingly ludicrously good. You have a chance to play Stormcall on yourself when you land a critical hit. I mean, Marius, what more is there to be said? Like, you run Giga Fast Marius, and he's removing all your stone skin, he's removing all your total guard, and he's spamming stuns on you like it's nobody's business. Disgusting. Absolutely gross. Unbelievably good relic. And then I'll put it as the highest lens of intangibility. Speed main stat, ignore defense boost, and then when you've got, it gives you perfect veil at the start of a fight as well. And when you're under perfect veil, you get a load more ignore defense. It is a little awkward to use in the sense that you need to, let's say you want to run it on a good damage dealer, let's say like a Crocad, I don't know. Crocad, he doesn't have perfect veil. You need someone else on the team to give him perfect veil. But if you do, it gives him a bigger damage boost than anybody else. But then on champions who can provide their own perfect veil, like Predator, like Ninja, Toshiro, whatever, here you go. This relic is going to give them an insane amount of damage on top of speed, which is really good. So there you are. That's my overview of best relics in the game. Let me know what you think. What are you looking at? Again, I think if possible, you want to be investing into S and A tier relics. I think you could certainly, B tier relics are going to be pretty nice. And they will have a fairly big impact on your builds for a lot of champions, because you're not going to have, let's be honest, that many S and A tier relics. So the B tier will definitely be filling out for some pretty impactful builds. And then the C tier, they're more lower rarity, so they are more accessible. You know, certainly earlier in your relic journey, you're going to be relying on quite a lot of the C tiers to actually get champions geared. I realized I never put a dot on this guy, I guess because he was purple already and I forgot. Is he I think he's yellow, actually. So, whoops. Messed that up. Oh, well. Whoops, sorry. I just don't like that relic, man. For me as a D tier, I think the anti-sheep thing, I don't like it. Anyway, doesn't matter. There you go. Broad overview. Yeah, give me your thoughts. Let me know. What do you think? I wouldn't be shocked if they add more relics soon, and I'm hopeful, please buff some of these bad relics as well. That'd be great. Thanks for watching. I'll see you next time. Goodbye.